All right, Eduardo, how hard is the eviction process? And before you go into that, is it just better to screen people up front than to try to deal with the issues after? But really, can you tell us about the eviction process?
Yeah, certainly it's something I would not recommend off the bat. In Mexico, there is a long time to obtain a favorable judgment on the part of the courts. There are a number of issues in connection with this. First of all, the backlog of the courts is substantial. They have to deal with a lot of matters. For example, here in Los Cabos, they're taking on 1,000 new matters every year, and they get to resolve around maybe a third of those, either by way of a settlement out of court or finally a judgment on the merits. And then you have to deal with the others that have not yet been resolved through the years. So there's a substantial part that they have to deal with. So there's a lot of work. And then the other part is, procedurally speaking, there are a lot of safeguards in favor of the tenant. So possession is, as they say, 9/10 of the law. So to evict someone, it is time consuming, it is expensive, and you are always better off having that tenant out rather than recover the lost rent. It's sad sometimes to think of it in this way, but the practical area in my 20 plus years experience is having the actual leased premises returned to the landlord so that he can then fix up the place and rent again. That's probably a better way. So what you mentioned regarding screening, now that's definitely a very important thing to ask, not only the tenant itself, but the people that might place a surety in favor of the obligations under the lease agreement. But yeah, it is not it's a time-consuming process. It's not very complicated, because this person hasn't paid rent. This is my lease agreement. This is the time I've required payment has not been forthcoming. So there's not a lot of things the tenant can say regarding, hey, I want to stay on and be free of rent and just stay there until I get kicked out. But that process will take time. It has to be done through the judicial courts, the civil courts, to regain possession, and it does take time. And hopefully it wasn't so like that, but it is the nature of this transaction in Mexico.